Hello again. It's been a while since we've done one of these. Thank you to my patrons for making these possible, and to Lesbian, Speedy and other Tumblr users whose research aided greatly in the writing of this episode. Let's begin. So, who is Oliver Queen, or Green Arrow as the case may be? Some describe him as a Robin Hood-themed Batman, others as just Batman but blonde, some even as his own person, namely a modern-day Robin Hood-styled vigilante using his fortune and skills to protect the less fortunate. You may be picking up a trend here, namely regarding him being super wealthy, and in certain comics and shows, he is the head of Queen Industries. The thing is, that's not been the norm until relatively recently, a la the New 52 era. However, in the 1960s onwards, starting in Justice League of America 1960 issue 75, as well as covered in Action Comics 636 and Secret Origins 1986-30 issue 38, Oliver Queen lost everything under the penmanship of Dennis O'Neil. Specifically, he was framed for embezzlement, and proving this is a fictional world, actually faced consequences for it, losing his empire, his manor, everything. Which he followed up naturally by going on a cross-country road trip. Hi Hal Jordan! He would survive on dwindling savings and steadily trying to put down his roots and find steady work, but it never lasted. This is when he was most active as a League member, and also was the beginning of his relationship with Black Canary. So many staples tied to his character emerged in this era. It's integral to note that while often struggling and far from happy at times, Oliver was never invested in reclaiming his fortune, even directing funds to people he felt more deserving, up to the point where he was practically squeezing blood from a stone-to-center dollar to every charity he could, and when he did come into major money, using it for war relief. In the 80s to early 90s, he was still poor, or at least not a man of means. Instead, he was working at Dinah's flower shop as a delivery person. This was back when Dinah had dark hair and just wore a blonde wig. It was only after his death and resurrection in the early 2000s that he got major money again, covered in the storyline Quiver, which would mostly be tied up in a youth centre anyway. He was briefly also a mayor. This long era was also the fermenting ground for his aggressively leftist and anti-capitalist ideology, and he looked back on his old self very poorly, a fact he was not remotely opposed to expressing. Since the reboot, he's been put back in the CEO position, lost it, reclaimed it, and so on, but for over 40 years, Oliver Queen was not rich, and much of his modern-day characterization relies on these experiences despite having them retconned out of existence. Sometimes. You know how DC is with continuity. This can naturally make his character feel a bit incoherent and messy at times, but I hope this broader context has proven engaging. Fully expect me to come back to the Arrow fam in the future, but for now, if you would like to support my work, please check out my Patreon for scripts and early releases, and if you would like to commission some 3D art, please hit up my Ko-fi. Thanks for stopping by.